Today we're driving the 2024 Subaru Outback Touring XT. We've driven a lot of wilderness products recently, and I thought it'd be nice just to get into the regular Outback. It starts at around $30,000 and goes up from there. This is $44,000 for the top trim, so we get all the bells and whistles in this. The Outback comes with either a naturally aspirated 2.5-liter boxer 4-cylinder or what's in this car, which is a turbocharged 2.4-liter boxer that makes 260 horsepower. That's mated to a continuously variable transmission. Of course, we get X mode all-wheel drive, about 8.7 inches of ground clearance, and decent fuel economy from this. Is rated for about 25 miles to the gallon combined, which is better than a lot of the SUV counterparts. Of course, this is a wagon, so you've got a ton of space in the back. Let's walk you guys around this Outback, talk about what it's been like to live with this week, and we'll go for a drive and give you guys some driving impressions. We have some nice features like a Harman Kardon sound system, a digital rear view mirror, heated and ventilated seats, a heated steering wheel. We've got this infotainment system, which on startup is the slowest in the business, but once it kind of warms up to existence, it seems to do pretty well, and it is livable. At least you get constant controls for your climate, fan speed, and CarPlay connectivity has been pretty good this week for me too, in my experience. This Outback is painted in autumn green metallic, which is a really nice looking color on this. We're riding on a set of Yokohama Avid GT tires in 225/60 R18s. Lots of plastic cladding, lots of rugged roof rack action. Not a bad looking wagon, and kind of the gold standard if you want to explore all the national parks in the United States and just have kind of a do-it-all vehicle that isn't a big SUV. Let's take a look at space in the back hatch here. Power tailgate. Really nice liner here. Do we get a spare tire? We do. Look at that. Awesome. Love to see it. You can fold down the rear seats with these two levers very quickly, very easily. And look at all the room back there. Rear hatch lowers nice and quickly. Look at these roof rails. Pretty solid. Rear seats resume to their upright position. You have some backrest adjustments right here, which is nice. Pretty easy ingress and egress. You sit a little bit higher in the back seat so you can see over the front passengers, giving this stadium seating. The floor has tons of room for you to stretch out with your feet under the driver's seat. This is a pretty large, spacious, and nice back seating area. Here's your armrest, a couple of cup holders there. We've got heated seats, 2 USB-C ports. Pretty good visibility throughout this interior too. No major blind spots. And super easy to get out of. Let's pop the hood to take a look at this Boxer 2.4-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder. Again, this makes 260 horsepower, 277 pound-feet of torque. It's rated for 22 miles to the gallon in the city, 29 on the highway, giving this a 25 mpg combined rating. It's torquey, it's pretty quick. Subaru always needs to work on the throttle response a little bit, so it is a bit of an on-off switch past about 30% throttle, but you get used to driving it, and overall it's a pretty nice powertrain. The continuously variable transmission is ultra smooth. We'll give you guys some more driving impressions once we get on the road. I mean, you guys have all seen the Subaru Outback. You know what it looks like. I think it's a pretty attractive looking wagon. Let's hop back inside, go over a few features in the driver's seat, and then we'll go for a drive. Here's what our reverse camera looks like. Pretty wide angle, kind of lower resolution, and because this is a vertical screen, it makes your view pretty small. This does have a forward-facing camera, no 360 camera unfortunately, but the forward-facing camera is even lower resolution and just doesn't have very good quality to it. But at least you have it if you need it in off-road driving scenarios, I suppose. I like that when you press the camera view button, the option to turn on X mode pops up at the top of the screen. That's nice. Parking brake, right there. All the ergonomics in this interior are pretty well laid out. You have auto up-down windows on all four corners, 2 seat memory settings, gauge cluster, and screen dimmer switch right here. A physical switch, which will dim everything. Love to see that. Buttons to pop the tailgate right down there. Heated steering wheel button, cup holders, really deep, really wide. That's nice. We've got kind of a primary storage space right here, and then a secondary down below there. Look at that. Is that a CD player? Wow. Huh. Get a nice spot to put your phone right here. No wireless charging, but that's okay. Wireless charging basically just heats up your phone anyway and doesn't really do much. You have lots of USB ports to actually charge your phone right there. At the top of the screen, you have a few options. You can see oil temperature, date, fuel consumption, weather, X mode, or you can swipe over and it'll eventually take you to an unnamed road, which will turn into a named road once you drive on a named road, or your radio. This infotainment, we've talked about this before. I do like that you get some constant controls down here, especially for climate, auto stop start, auto vehicle hold. You've got some quick access settings here for your vehicle control, driving assistance, etc. We get physical volume and tune knobs. Like to see that. Front defrost, rear defrost buttons. And again, like I said, the ergonomics in this cabin are actually pretty good, and everything's nicely laid out and easy to use. A few more displays here in the center screen. You can see your tire pressures, direction, navigation info, time, temperature, stuff like that. Let's go for a drive and see what this Outback is like on the road. All right, driving impressions on the 2024 Subaru Outback. Well, this drives pretty much like all the other Subaru products with this powertrain configuration. Say hello to Savage Geese here. We've got kind of a rubber bandy, continuously variable transmission, plenty of torque, good turning radius here. It's quiet, it's smooth, it's comfortable. Surprisingly little body roll. This is very flat around a corner here. Handles pretty well too, for what it is and its size. Not a lot of NVH over bumps, thanks to some sidewall on these tires. Good visibility. Steering's not too heavy, not too light. Not a ton of feedback, but again, this is just a regular car, and it's kind of nice and refreshing to get behind the wheel of a regular car. I've got to say, with all the crazy fun and interesting stuff we test on the YouTube channel, it's refreshing to get behind the wheel of something that's just very normal. I can see why these are so popular, especially in the snow belt. They have fantastic winter capability, good ground clearance, tons of room inside and out. They're priced reasonably, and the fact that it just isn't an SUV makes it handle and drive better than a lot of the SUV counterparts. We don't have any fancy drive modes. The tech in here is mostly approachable. It's not sporty, but it handles quite well. Good amount of mechanical grip here. And this turbocharged 2.4 liter boxer makes more power than you could ever need in this thing. Good for passing, good for towing. This can tow up to 3,500 pounds. Though with a CVT, I'm not sure I'd really want to for long-term durability. EyeSight has gone from not a great system in its early iterations to one of the best driving assistance systems on the market. Adaptive cruise control, lane centering, all work great in this car. You can easily skip 5-mile-an-hour increments by holding up and down on your plus-minus switches. This has been a great system to live with this week. Works well on road trips, operates decently in traffic, You can hear at speed. This is reasonably quiet, not a ton of wind or road noise. You can easily turn off steering assist, change your gap settings, your following distance right here too, or disable the system easily with the steering wheel buttons. Nice, big, chunky buttons, easy to read, easy to operate, easy to use. Occasionally, the throttle response is a bit aggressive past about 30-40% throttle, where it can just kind of lurch forward. But once you spend some time behind the wheel and you kind of calibrate yourself to driving this, you get used to it. Subaru is known for not having the most linear throttle response, especially on their turbocharged engines. This 2.4 turbo has enough torque to get you up to speed without completely revving out that power band with the CVT. Cruising on the highway here about 1700 RPM. $75 miles an hour. This is a comfortable car. You can do some long distance trips in this and be perfectly happy behind the wheel. Nice big visors that slide and block the sun. Got a big mirror right there. Brakes feel good. Nice bite, good pedal feel, nice and firm. All the versions of the Subaru Outback that I've driven all handle quite well, even the wilderness on the all-terrain tires. CVT is nice and responsive off the line. Honestly, this is one of the quicker cars with a continuously variable transmission out there. You probably don't need 260 horsepower out of your Outback, but it is nice to have. Comfortable ride too, not too squishy. Still composed enough to handle well on a back road. Again, just really nice road manners, easy to live with and drive. I will say this Outback does feel surprisingly light and nimble, more so than you would expect it to be. It really does do a good job of hiding its weight. We do get some manual control over our gears, put it into manual mode. And I believe it'll simulate an 8-speed automatic. Gives you a nice level of deceleration off throttle. And it'll simulate gear changes too. Yeah, it's an 8-speed. Alright guys, those are some driving impressions on the 2024 Subaru Outback Touring XT. Pretty nice overall car. Is it worth paying $44 grand for the top trim? Probably not in my mind. It makes more sense to get something like the Premium for low 30s or the Limited for high 30s. You're still getting all the great stuff that makes the Outback a nice vehicle, a nice road trip vehicle, a nice daily driver. With those models, you're just not getting some of the extra tech and fluff and comfort features, which maybe you want, maybe you don't, but at least Subaru offers it as an option, and you can get into one of these for a pretty reasonable price. I think the last thing to do, let's go in and do a quick sound system test, see what this Harman Kardon sounds like, and that'll be a wrap for this video. soundcarding is decent, not amazing. The bass gets a little bit muddy at higher volumes, but the rest of it sounds pretty good. All right, guys, we're going to walk you around this one more time, and that'll be a wrap. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you in the next video. Take care.